Hi folks, welcome back. Thank you for watching. Please do hit subscribe if you haven't done so yet. It really does help when you do that. So today folks, I've got a brand new pedal to show you. So new it hasn't officially been released yet, but don't worry, it's coming out very, very soon. Now, as regulars to this channel will know, I'm a big fan of a pedal company based in Spain called Decibelics. It's run by a lovely chap called Guillem, I believe is the correct pronunciation of his name. I completely screwed that up in the last video I made of one of his pedals, so hopefully I've got it right now. And what he does is he takes extinct but very highly regarded pedals and brings them back to life in a way that sounds as close to the original units as possible, but at the same time making them a mini pedal format, so they're modern day pedal board friendly, and also giving you some functionality improvements over the original, but without harming the tone in any way. So his clone, the Golden Horse, is widely regarded as being the best K-style overdrive out there in terms of nailing the sound and the feel of an original clone, and he worked the same magic on the old Boss HM2. But he's now turned his attention to a slightly different circuit, which is a boutique overdrive that came out of Japan in the mid-1990s called the Bixonic Expander. And this is what he's come up with here, the brand new Reverend. Now, the Expandora never became anywhere near as much of a household name as something like the Tubescreamer or the DS1, but it was used by a lot of very notable guitarists. Joe Satriani loved his, the guys from Megadeth used them, but no name is more closely tied with the Expandora than the Reverend Billy Gibbons, hence the name. And the Expandora really did define the sound of late 90s, early 2000s ZZ Top. It kind of became Billy's signature tone for a good while. But over the years, very few boutique pedal manufacturers have kind of based overdrive circuits on the Expandora, which is a real mystery to me because this thing sounds absolutely wonderful. Now, before we get going into what this pedal does and is, if you're ever bored of receiving pedals through the post in a box, don't worry, Guillem's got you covered, because this one comes in a tin, which is really nice. And also the original Expandoras came in two different colours, black writing and red writing. Now, you can choose between them because Guillem offers both. So when you're buying a Reverend, you can just choose which colour writing you want. You can get hold of both colours, which is great to have. Now, the original circuit was the EXP 2000, and that's the one that's kind of held in the highest regard by guitarists as sounding the best. So the circuit inside this pedal is the EXP 2000 circuit. It uses the same new old stock components as the original to really nail the sound and the feel. And Guillem tunes every Reverend that ships to his original to make sure it sounds absolutely dead on. But there were a couple of revisions of that pedal that came out with some slightly different functionality. So the replacement was the Expandora II, the EXP 2001. Slightly different circuit, slightly different sound, but the main kind of improvement over the original was the original Expandora had dip switches inside on the circuit board to allow you to select different modes. So you had crunch, overdrive, and distortion, but you had to open the pedal up to actually flip those dip switches. But the EXP 2001 took those dip switches and put them on the outside of the pedal on a clickable knob. So the red knob on this pedal is that knob from the EXP 2001. So you can select between 4 different modes, I'll tell you about the 4th shortly, without opening the pedal up. So that's really nice to have. Now, Bixonic did also reissue the Expandora, the EXP 2000R, and pretty much the only criticism of the original was that it was quite thin in the low end, especially at low gain settings. So when they reissued it, they introduced a bass switch. Now, I'll put some screenshots on screen now that Guillem sent me of exactly what that switch does in terms of the frequency response. You'll see it's pretty subtle. It just gives you a little bit less filtering low down. Now, Bixonic marketed that as being for bass guitar, but it works equally as well on 6-string to give you a much thicker, thumpy sound. Now, inside this pedal on the circuit board, you get that switch. So you pretty much have the original EXP 2000 circuit with the mode selector from the EXP 2001 and the bass switch from the EXP 2000R. So it really is a kind of greatest hits of all those circuits while still giving you the sound that is held in the highest regard. Now, the bass switch is inside for kind of two reasons. One, there's no room for it on the outside, but also it's kind of a set and forget type thing. As I said, the effect is fairly slight, so you just choose which matches your personal preferences the best, screw it up, and then get on with enjoying the pedal. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to demo this pedal with two different guitars, a Strat and then an SG. So with the Strat, I'll go through all the modes and all the settings, but with the bass switch on to really fatten up those single coils. And with the SG, I'll turn the bass switch off to tighten up the humbuckers. Now, I mentioned there's a fourth mode on this pedal. On the original Expandor with the dip switches, if you engaged both of the dip switches at once, which it was never designed to do, it kind of made the pedal go completely haywire and cave in on itself and become really saggy and broken sounding. And over the years, that's become known as the so-called forbidden mode. So that's what F is on the rotary control, the forbidden mode. Now, I'm going to demo that today with both guitars. Bear in mind, it was never designed to actually be used. It was just something that people kind of tried and it went crazy and they latched onto. So it does sound broken, especially when you roll the guitar's volume down. It can kind of cut in and out and sound a bit like a tremolo at times. That's what that mode is. It was never designed to be usable. So don't worry, the pedal's not broken. That's how it's meant to be. So I can't wait to show this to you today, folks, because I think it sounds absolutely astonishing. So without further ado, here we go. there we are, folks. Now, please do comment underneath. Let me know what you thought of the Reverend today. Which setting was your favourite? Did you prefer it with single coils or humbuckers? I love chatting nerdy guitar stuff with you folks down in the comments section. But this thing just sounds absolutely wild, doesn't it? And you can see why so many legendary guitarists have loved it over the years. It has that kind of abrasive top end that's never too much. It's got a lovely clarity to it. And with the 4 different modes and the bass switch, you can really shape it to make it your own. But 2 things I really love about it. Firstly, how well it cleans up on the volume control. It almost acts like a fuzz face. You can set it super gainy and saggy and then roll your volume back to make it spanky clean. So that's amazing. But also, when you dig into the guitar, it doesn't kind of change the gain too much or the volume, but it kind of changes the feel and the EQ. It kind of becomes more pokey in the mid-range, and then you back off, and again, it's no less saturated. It's just a little bit more relaxed sounding. So I love how the feel changes when you dig into that. I hope that comes across on the audio because I was really feeling it here in the room. And that forbidden mode is just absolutely nuts. As I said in the intro, it was never designed to be a thing. It's just something people have latched onto over the years. So it's great to have that. I don't anticipate using it too much myself, apart from for special effects. But all 3 of the kind of crunch, overdrive and distortion modes just sound incredible. But those are just my thoughts, folks. Please do comment underneath and let me know yours. I love getting your opinions on all this sort of stuff. So thank you ever so much for watching, folks. Please do go to the Decibelics website and check this pedal out. It's coming onto the market very, very soon. I hope this video was interesting and useful for you. Please do carry on subscribing. I know I always say it, but it makes a huge difference when you hit subscribe. And I will see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.